yourself, you're in last place every day. You can't quit your heart, don't back up, don't back out. So far. Every night I wish for it in my soul. Tell me if you know how to follow. Your dreams, baby. Tell me if you know how to follow your
Yo, what's good, people? Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well out there, staying inspired. Saffron, welcome back, and thank you so much for the continued support, homie. I appreciate it. Purple Pros, same to you. Big love. Thank you for the continued support. Bunch, welcome back. Good to see you. Ooh, and I'm already beating Paul because it is gorgeous here today. Hope you're doing well in grayish Maryland. Subvids. How you doing, man? Good to see you. We're gonna make some new stuff today. Just play. Just have fun and play today. Gonna make some new subscriber sounds because I feel like you guys should have some new sounds going into the weekend. Zeep Sandthorpe is in the house. Welcome back. Anybody up to anything special this weekend? Or feeling an extra dose of inspiration for your music making endeavors, perhaps? Maybe the sunshine is tickling your fancy? I think I'm done with that. Oh, are you kidding me? Logic, did you just seriously just crash on me? That was stupid. This is what you get for testing a friend's plugin. Oh, and all my beautiful text has gone away. Oh. Nice, Paul. Doing a set tonight. Very nice. Subvids doing well. Doing well. Head into the weekend. That's not a bad thing. Swamp. How you doing, man? Ooh, gonna go hiking. It's supposed to be 78 tomorrow. Very nice. Yeah. It's been gorgeous here lately. Definitely be out in the sun. You're feeling so happy about some things. Well, that's great. That is awesome. Music by Louis. Welcome. How are you? Yeah, we could do some feedback. You can toss a link into the chat there. Can't believe Logic just took away all my text. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Maybe today is the day that I finally save it as a template, eh? Hash key, welcome. Just getting set up here, folks. Party of 4. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday to you. More details on the challenge this month. But we all know that I can't type and talk at the same time, so give me just a second, and then I'll kick down some deets for you. I think it's going to be a good time. And it's going to result in one of you being on the show, which will be fun. Well, at least one of you, we should say. Oh, man. Pretzel, come on. You're killing me. Let's just end this. All right, I'm back. Eric, welcome back, dude. Happy Friday to you. It's good to have you here, man. All right, so before we get started on feedback and new sounds and all that kind of stuff, I found a bit more clarity around the challenge this month. So everyone who's currently subscribed can head over to the Discord, grab the sound pack this month if you haven't done it already. This month it's found sounds for beatmakers, and it's just some cool random found sound Foley stuff. And the deal is submit anything. I don't want to call it a beat challenge, and I don't want to call it a track challenge. I want people to feel like they can... Fried Thoughts, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Happy Friday to you. I want people to feel like they can submit whatever the hell they want, regardless of what they're producing. And that includes people that are scoring scenes or doing game clip remakes, right? Or, you know, maybe they've got a sound design project for their class that they're in or something, right? Anyway, the point that I'm making here is that you can submit a beat, a track, a synced video that you have done all of the sound for. And we'll work this out as we go over the next couple of months as we do the first couple of these. But I think that this can be a really cool format because we can kind of open up the kind of the, you know, the ranking and prize structure a little bit. We can make more sounds throughout the month and find some really cool ways to, you know, start making collaboration happen with people and stuff. So anyway, excellent, Louis. I see your link there. I'll get to that in just a moment. Also, just taking requests today. It's just a day for you, just because love. So drop links in chat, sit tight. I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will want feedback. So just, you know, pretend you're watching feedback TV or something. And in between, I'm going to make you guys some sounds. So think about what you want. And I say, let's use Serum so you guys can ask more questions and let me know the things that you're most interested about for the Wavetable Masterclass workshop. And we will tear Serum apart together, and you will find out so many juicy little bits that you never knew about. And then see a whole bunch of mad science trickery. Heidi, I've read this line that says, I'm feeling so happy about some things a few times now, and that makes me happy. I'm glad you're doing well. Paul's saying half vids, half live performance, featuring patch, found sound, percussion. Nice, nice. And Paul has just dropped a link to Nick's virtual garage. If you have not checked it out, go check it out. This is the digs. And when is that, Paul? Fried thoughts, of course. Nice, Swamp. I will check that. I'm sure I've got emails from a few of you in the inbox. Thank you all for being patient. Fried thoughts, you can drop it here in the chat or you can drop it in Discord, either way. While you're there, if you are a current subscriber, you can grab a free sound pack. And Saf, to answer your question about the melon, you just got to wait, homie. If you have a large paper bag, you know, like a shopping bag, just roll up the top of it tight and keep the melon in there for a few days and it'll gas itself. It'll speed up the process. All right, I think I'm fairly... Oh, yeah, of course. Fried thoughts. Sorry. If you have a link, you can drop the link in chat and you can drop the file in Discord. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a public space for that over there. All right, so I'm going to click on this one from Louis. Or Lewis. Sorry, I don't mean to offend if I'm mispronouncing the name here. All right. Away we go. Happy Friday, everybody.
I feel like I'm in a dream, 'cause nothing is as it seems. I feel like I'm in a dream, but that's where I wanna be. Wanna be, wanna dream, wanna be. Feel like I'm in a dream, wanna be, wanna dream.
That's a tight track. That's fun. That is fun. All right. So from the stop, I'm not sure that you've ever been here for feedback. So it's all pretty frank and honest. So there's not exactly a lot of sugarcoating. So I like this. Paul, tonight at 8 Eastern. All right, dude. Nice. Bye, Nap. Good to see you, dude. And Dremia, welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. And Jafar, welcome back. All right, so this intro, super tight. It really sets the stage. It's really nice. In that initial impact, when those drums first come in before all the lows get cut out again, I'd add a bit more mid-low. I mean, not like over-the-top compression here or anything. Just warm up the mid-lows just a little bit, just to get a little bit more oomph, I think. It'll draw, I think, a little bit more attention to that impending fade, and I think that it would just be nice for dynamics. Super chill, really tight, big impact, build back up. Feels good. And then at 45 seconds or so, you might want to consider like just A/B test, just a simple bright white 1-bar riser, like almost nothing for the first quarter bar, right? And just a really quick whip up just to brighten that that segue point, right at the peak of your riser there. I think it would really help push it. 1 minute. I think the bass is just a little bit wily in those low mids, and I would reassess these two comments, the one about the horn and the guitar, after fixing that. And it's kind of rangy. It feels like it's somewhere between like 95 and 130, that it's just a little bit too I think it's just a little bit too loud. So I think an EQ will do it, and I think a fairly static position will do it. I don't think you need to make it dynamic. The horn, I feel, is just a bit too separate from the mix here. It's just a mix thing. So most likely this comes down to pre-delay setting in the reverb and the overall wet dry. Sorry, it's been a long week. I'd imagine that would probably fix it. I'd keep the same position. Minute 45. This guitar is right on the bubble. Like in some moments, it's kind of fading away into some of the other sounds, and in other moments, it's really right there, almost to there. So I think that it might be a little over compressed at some point, or if there's saturation, the saturation isn't really targeting a sweet spot of the guitar itself. It's just kind of a universal application. So I would test those two things before anything else. Right around 2 minutes, I know that you're going to bring it back full shortly after this, but I think that if you were just to tease just a tiny bit more of some higher frequencies in that lead, even if it was just like a tiny little flutter in a couple spots, I think it'd be really nice for the overall balance of the track right there. Just because you've got such a super tight and sharp sound throughout it. And then the last thing is, I would just check your overall loudness rating. You can use like loudness penalty plugin or website, and it'll tell you if it's going to turn down this thing in decibels on the different streaming platforms. You can also look at this in a meter, and if you have a LUFS meter on that meter, you just don't want to be feeling the pressure of the loudness. Right now you can kind of feel there's a certain amount of pressure on the ears with the loudness, and it just feels a little over compressed. And if you aren't already doing it, your music is at the point where you probably should be gain staging from the very beginning and maintaining only one specific thing in the mix that hits that -6 dB headroom cap, and then mix everything else below it. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's what I've got for you. Saf, yeah, absolutely, dude. I feel like in most bookshops, especially new ones that I've never been to, it's usually like philosophy and poetry first, and then go and hit like the sci-fi fantasy area. And I feel like you kind of know a bookshop at that point. You can kind of predict what you're going to find in the rest. Fried Thoughts is liking this. I bet you had some heads bopping. Paul. Javar, how you doing today, man? Louis, we can circle back and hit your next link after we click through these others here. Yeah, I agree with subvids on this one. Nice variety in the tune. Fried Thoughts, sure, man. Go ahead, drop a link. Absolutely. Yeah, loudnesspenalty.com I think is it's a free thing. You just drop like an MP3 in there and it'll give you like instant feedback just because the standards that the streaming platforms are public. So um, they just measure it really quick and tell you what the difference is. They also make a plugin, and I think it's either like donationware or like $5 or something like that. And then you can kind of keep an eye on that. But honestly, if you have a meter in your DAW, like I've always got, I mean, regardless of what I'm working on, um, I've always got a multimeter off to the side, and I'm kind of monitoring my overall stereo spread. I'm keeping track of my LUFS and my RMS. And it's important. So if you're making like seriously loud club banger stuff, maybe that's like a -9 LUFS. If you're making cinematic type stuff, somewhere between 16 and 12. Um, the decibels are arbitrary nowadays. I mean, you don't want to hit 0 because you don't want to clip and start losing information, but my 0 dB is different than your 0 dB. You know what I mean? So it'll tell you in the loudness meter thing if your stuff is going to be turned down, and it'll tell you in decibels. But I'm sure that they're tracking the overall perceived loudness as well. Heidi VIP. East End, I see you. I'll grab this link in a bit. Oh, Jafar. Oh, streaming without being live. Oh man, you feel a little silly, huh? I think all of us have done stuff like that. Hmm. There's an interesting thought there, Fried Thoughts. So you're saying the more dynamic range you have, the less you get reduced. Is that in the loudness penalty um, algorithm there? Paul, definitely done that too. Definitely done that. The silent jams. Yeah. Hash, how are you today, man? Thank you for the raid. The audience of one always likes it, right? Gotcha, gotcha. All right, Fred Thoughts. That's good. That's good insight right there. They go by LUFS. Okay. Spotify. Well, yeah, I think you kind of have to, right? Because decibels is so arbitrary. All right, and Bynap, I see you too. Welcome back, dude. I think I got one sitting in the Discord here that we should attend to first. All right, sound design by me. Still getting the final engineer touches. Thanks for the feedback in advance, and I love that you use Logic. Oh, awesome. All right, so this one is coming from Fried Thoughts. Okay, so all right, so I got some feedback here for you. Overall, the sub in this mix is a bit much. It's a good track, by the way. The sub is a bit much, um, and you can kind of feel it, especially when the ducking is happening through your sidechain there. So um, it's really indicative of there also being a resonant peak in there somewhere. Is that on your kick? It's a pretty common mistake to make where if you're leaving sub frequencies in your kick and you've got steady sub bass running through your mix, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not really hearing a good representation of your kick ever, um, and it's going to throw off. Um, well, it's gonna it's causing a cascading effect in the mix. So the sub I think needs to get turned down, and take a look at the frequencies that you have on your kick because um, if you have a really heavy sub like that, you're probably going to want to bring your kick up more like this, right? You're going to want to cut out a significant amount, and then just no resonant peak here on that kick. If you feel like it really needs to be um, brought up in some way and add emphasis, I would really recommend some multiband compression instead. It would bring a lot more tightness to the kick and it would keep the low end much more in line. Um, and then that way, other things in the mix aren't affected by it. I think you would be a lot happier with the results that way. Um, And I feel like the sidechain release might be just a tad short, like maybe just an extra 10 milliseconds or something in there. Um, 145, that bass, the crunchy top is nice, and I think it could be accentuated just a touch. Um, and it doesn't have to be with anything other than an EQ, probably. I don't think it needs any more distortion or anything. Um, those the chords, and this was happening earlier, but at 2 minutes it becomes just too apparent. The volume on those, the loudness on those is just too much, and it's kind of crushing the mix. They could come down several dB and the whole mix would feel a bit better. You would hear some more things breathing. There's just a really big frequency spread on that, and it's a really, really big noise. I don't think that it needs to be um, given that kind of clearance in the mix. Um, 3 minutes at the 3 minute mark, really nice change up. Very good. Added a bit of drama. So I would say, as just some overall notes here, um, mid-range tightness. I think that this is, and I mentioned it down here too, separation and tightness and emphasis. I think that these are the things that you want to aim for in a mix like this. There's a lot of different elements. And your job now that you've put together a really good track is to, in the mix, figure out a way to make sure that each one of them is highlighted in a way that um, is allowing us to be drawn in by them. But at the same time, they're not negatively impacting the other sounds around them in the mix, right? So wrangling things in with an EQ, if you don't already get an EQ on every single thing in the track, put it on first before anything else. So all of your plugins are responding to the frequencies that you really want them to. And just try to eliminate the frequencies on both sides, high and low, but especially low, that don't need to be there. Because you have a lot of sounds in this mix that have fairly general noise profiles to them, meaning that there's a big wash of frequencies across the spectrum in play. And because of that, there's just more competition overall. So the more wiggle room you can give to any of these sounds in any space is going to create more definition and clarity and separation, and that's going to allow us to hear the emphasis that you've put in different places much better. So, and also just nice overall sound design work, and good job keeping the tonality in those grimy and dirty synths, because that can be a challenge, as we all know. I'm going to catch up in the chat here and see what other people are saying. Hmm. How does the kick affect the sub when it ducks to 0? Okay, so if I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly. Are you saying that the kick is hitting 0 dB, or that the ducking is taking the sub all the way down to negative infinity? And yeah, the vocoder is a tricky thing to master. Your best friend is an EQ at the beginning and the end of your chains that you've got the vocoder on, and just focus on what part of the sound, timbre-wise, is most important to the overall mix. What is the timbre that you're trying to get through? Because I guarantee you there will be parts of each one of these sounds that you're going to get rid of that when you listen to them on their own in isolation, just in solo, they're all going to sound good. And each part of it, for the most part, will seem rather important to the makeup of the overall song, or of the sound, right? But once all these other sounds are in play, you've just got to start making some decisions. Any recommendations for a digital music distributor? For SoundCloud, drops the sub all the way to pretty much 0. Oh, sidechain, SoundCloud. So yeah, negative infinity. You like that? You like that? Yeah, because 0 dB is the limit on the meter. It's at the very top. So there are all these negative numbers, and you can't have a negative 0, so it's negative infinity. Okay, well, there's a few things here. Fried thoughts. If you're thinking that your kick needs to have the sub when you already have a sub present, it doesn't. 2, you may not need a sustained sub throughout the entire thing at all. 3, your ducking of said sub does not need to go all the way down to nothing. It can just be an attenuation of like 5 or 10 decibels. But there's also the attack parameter, the knee, and the release in your compression that need to find a good balance position, right? But if you're taking everything down to 0, it's gonna have a weird impact feature to it, no matter what your modulation is, really, right? It's like when you go from entirely nothing on a low pass filter to everything with an LFO. You get a weird thump at the bottom, and you get an almost kind of a click at the top, right? So we stay away from those extremes. And the same should go for your attack and your release settings too. So if your attack on your compressor for your sidechain ducking, if it's at 0, just move it up to like 0.1, right? It's a big difference. It's going to make like a noticeable difference. And also, the type of compressor circuitry is important too, right? So if you're using Logic, then try the different compressors, because each one of those is modeling a different compressor, yes, but each one has very different insides, and they're reacting to things very differently. The last thing that I would say to that is that you need to be putting the right signal strength for each one of your tracks through your plugins for them to behave the way that we expect them to. And if you're overdriving a sound or underdriving, or if something is overcompressed, or if there are frequencies which are not the main focus of the sound, but are still dominant in the spectrum, then all of those things can cause you to have results from any of your plugins, not just compression, that you don't expect and that you don't want, right? So you just got to get everything in line before you start feeding them through the plugins. And that's why I say just put an EQ at the very top, right? Roll off the frequencies that aren't necessary. And now that way, you know that your plugins are at least responding to the parts of the sound that you want them to, right? And then also make sure that your signal strength is proper, right? And then that way, everything's reacting the way that you would expect it to. And also the threshold, your threshold is the point at which the signal, the incoming signal into the compressor, so this would be your sidechain signal, that's the decibel that it needs to reach for the compressor to kick into action. Okay, so it's going to do its thing if your threshold is up at, say, -10 dB. Okay, that's almost all the way up your meter, right? So it's gonna start attenuating the signal right then and there. And if you're reducing by like 5 or 10, your 5 is going to get you room for your kick. 10 is going to give you a noticeable pump, right? What you don't want to do is turn it below that by a whole bunch, because now you're throttling the sound completely. You're starting to compress something before a signal, an incoming signal, has even come close to reaching its peak. So it's basically just hot and cold, just always on and always off, and it's just a bit too extreme. So you just want to better understand the functionality and correlation between the signal strength and like the working mechanics of the call and response, if you will, the conversation that they're having together. Aha, yes, aha. To infinity and before. Yeah. Oh, bye nap. You have a class. Hold on just a second. Hold on. I didn't realize we were on the clock, dude. Do you have 3 minutes? You can screenshot my notes. Another solid one, dude. DJ came clean. You could drop a link in the chat, or you can drop a file into Discord. Either way. What's up, Zev? How you doing, brother? Fried thoughts. I hope that those notes did help on your track. And it looks like Bynap is still here. Cool. The volume mix is off on this. The volume mix is off. I was going to start to continue to tally this, and then I just realized, and just say that you need to redo the volume mix. It would just be much, much simpler. The horns are just too loud, and the mids are sitting between really loud treble and really loud bass. And although there is kind of a cool resulting effect that's like kind of reminiscent of like a muted horn or something in general, which I don't dislike, but the loudness needs to be attended to, I think. And so maybe just going back and picking one thing that's going to be the hero, one thing, and you're going to set that thing to negative 6 dB, and then you're going to bring up everything else underneath it. And we've got to find, I think, a little bit more separation between these elements in the stereo field as well. That said, and I'm definitely not hating on treble, but the treble, the high end is beating the low end in this mix, and the low end I feel is just a little bit hot in a couple of spots, and then it's just kind of buried under the highs, which is not what we normally hear for this type of stuff. So I'm going to recommend some really gentle top end reduction, and you can just do this with an EQ on those horn synths are probably the first ones to attend to. And I know that looks brutal at first, but I'm talking like maybe just a 6 dB per octave curve. So sure, you're going to take off some of these little bits of brightness back here. Sure. And if that ends up being a bit too much, you just take another peek and you just tuck it in there until you get the shape that you want around the specific frequency that's going to bring back the life to the rim of the bell of that horn. I know this is a synth, but still, we're just kind of playing with this idea of a horn, right? And if you want that emulation to come through, you can kind of peekaboo some frequencies out this way. It might be a bit more pleasing to the ear overall, because when you do have this many frequencies playing in this kind of rapid fire fashion up here, it becomes dominant over the bass because the bass is not being supported by the mids, and these frequencies are constantly firing new things at us to pay attention to, right? So what we're going to do is try to kind of quell all of that activity, and then hopefully that will allow us to hear a bit more of these mids. And I would suggest kind of like what I was talking about in the last round of feedback, which is just make sure that you've got EQs on everything, and that you're providing a little bit of wiggle room for things both frequency-wise and stereo spread-wise. Sounds like a notch effect in the whole mix. It does kind of. Yeah, in a really unique way. In a unique way. Overall mix is negative 24 dB without compressors. Well then maybe, I'm not sure that I understand this statement. Are you saying that your mix is at negative 24 dB, and then you're making it loud with compressors? Just getting caught up on the chat here. Nice invitation, Paul. Road trip to Paul's. What's the address, Paul? Three studios. Three studios without effects in the master. Okay, well then let's change that because leaving 24 dBs of headroom is just too much. And then what you're asking is for all of your loudness and power and everything to come um, just through this maximization, just through this compression, and um, that's not really what we want. You can find even 3 Google searches. That's great. How do I say this? When it's not just about making things loud at the end. It's about making sure that the plugins and everything are reacting to the signals the way that they were designed to. And if you're running everything through at that low of a decibel on your meters, then the plugins that you're running everything through, they're not responding to these things the right way, right? Um, and I think that, I've seen people do this before. Um, so you're certainly not alone in this. There is this concept that you hear people talk about, like mix at a really low level. And I think that conversation starts to get a bit conflated in trying to constantly make things louder and how all these things are actually tied together. What you don't want to do is mix at too low of a level on your meters. And keep your meters um, where they should be, near zero, and you all of your monitoring is then lower. But you do want your signals going through your plugins at a decent level. And if everything together is at negative 24 dB at the end of your chain, then that means that that's the sum of all products, right? That means that all of those things were probably just too low to be getting the attention that they deserved from all those plugins all the way through. So, um, if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. Yeah, Javar is hitting the nail on the head. It's also, he's saying it's like recording something with a really low mic and then trying to boost it to compensate and not lose sound quality, which is really difficult. And it's the same exact thing as taking a low res image and then hoping to blow it up to this really big size and have it be just as good as you were hoping it to be. And it's just not. It's still going to be a thing, right? And I know that this is apples and oranges, but it's the same kind of a concept, right? And it's not that we're losing um, clarity and stuff per se, like we are with an image, but we are kind of losing focus. We're losing focus on what the original idea was and all this stuff because it's this cascading effect throughout the mix that starts to occur when you're mixing at the wrong levels. Um, so, for what it's worth, a proper mix um, starting at the very beginning is always going to be the best way to solve the large majority of problems. Always. All right. Who is next? And thank you, by now. And I hope you have a good class. You're probably already having to run out the door. Okay, so everybody loves F minor. Yep. Right thoughts? -5 LUFS loudness. That's pretty loud. -5 LUFS loudness is very loud. Very, very, very loud. Okay, so who is up next? We've got another one in the chat here before the next one in the Discord. All right, East End, you ready? All right, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I got the, no, juice, corn, no, the cool, no, I hit it too, no, I got a two, no, drop it in the goose, no, they in the goose, no, back in my goose, no, back in the goose, no, back in the juice, no, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got your boo, that is the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, get in two, get in two, I got a two, no, jumping in the goose, no, they in the goose, no, back in my goose, no, back in the goose, no, back in the juice, no, man, the shoot, man, the shoot. Two. Man, the truth.
All right, so nice triplet. Kick that thing off with in that kick. I got a Twix bar. Where did that come from, Purple Pros? Did you just discover a Twix bar in front of you? Phaser Koto. Super Mario did some trap music. This is awesome. Foley or vinyl cuts. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Paul. All right, so nice triplet to kick this thing off with. East End. Okay, so this ARP that's running throughout the first 2/3 of this mix here, it could use a bit more clarity. And it sounds to me like you've probably got a reverb directly on the track that the sample is on. And you might want to consider moving that over to a parallel track. You can keep the same exact reverb and everything, just quite literally just drag it over to an auxiliary track and send your sample out to it in a bus. And then mix it in at the level that you want it. And the result is that you'll keep the same reverb, but you will also get a bit of the original sound in there that's completely untouched. And it's going to allow for greater separation in the mix. So we're going to be able to hear that a bit better. The next thing I would recommend is just a little bit of variety. And it doesn't need to be any weird chopping or glitching or stuttering or anything. I think it's got a really nice, even keel, super old school vibe. As it is, but if you just put a filter on there and just move it around a little bit, even if it's just like like a parallel process with like a band pass or something, and you're just kind of moving that around, just scoping it a bit, or if there's maybe a skinny resonant peak on it while it's floating around, either one of those would be really nice because it would be subtle it would still draw more attention to it, which is really the goal here. It's not that it's boring, it's that you want more attention drawn to it, right? Without it drawing attention away from the lyrics, right? You want it to be a vibe. So if you have something like this, Shaperbox can give you a ton of ideas in just a few seconds, just by flipping through presets or something. And then once you start to get your juices flowing, you can start to kind of dial in something that you actually feel is good for your track. I'm liking the low vocal sample at the very beginning of that thing, man. You hear a little pop in there in the reverb, because there's no fade curve on the sample, which by no means is a bad thing in this track specifically, because it's drenched in reverb and it actually sounds pretty cool. But it did clue my ears into the fact that this song is ripe for Foley, and at the very least some vinyl cutting. And vinyl cutting is dope because you've got a different take on a more percussive take on vinyl noise, right? If you're unfamiliar with it, there's a bunch of tools out there, but you can pick one up from oh man, what the heck? R&R. Why is my brain so scrambled today? It's R&R. Where is it? The vinyl carving station. Yes. Let me just pull that up for you. So there's a company called Rattling Raw, and they make this awesome little thing called the vinyl carving station. If you're not familiar with vinyl cutting, this is the type of track that would do really well in. It's the old school feels, for sure. Yeah, so anyway, it's really awesome stuff, and I think it would probably fit this. But also, just Foley manipulation in general. When you first hear this little needle drop, or the little fade clip here, or sample clip here, when this vocal comes back in, check it. Right in here somewhere. Right there. That. So the Foley manipulation, they could just be like really kind of almost random little percussive things. You could even drench them in reverb if you don't want them to be a shiny object in the arrangement per se. But I think it would really, really fit this old school vibe that you've got going here. And also, do you bus driver? Because if you don't, you should. By the way, that a piano I messed up, not with not R. Okay, cool. Oh, and Paul's already got a link to the final carving station. Trevi has got the zombie vibes. Oh yeah, and Subvids drops a link to vinyl from Isotope, which is also another high quality option there. But yeah, what Paul's saying, vinyl cuts through a delay and a big verb. It would definitely fit the vibe. What up, Space Bats? How you doing, Rain? Yeah, dude, the vinyl cutting stuff is awesome. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Oh, Bus Driver. Bus Driver is an artist. If you're not familiar with Bus Driver, go look him up. Everyone in this room, if you don't know what Bus Driver is, go look him up. This is a piece of history that you've been missing. Tracks on the bus go vroom, vroom, vroom. Thank you for dropping in, East. It's a pleasure hearing your music. And do stop by with more. All right, so the next one is over in the Discord. We already got Binaps. All right. So this one's from Came Clean. 15, 7 months. Okay, well, you're starting in Scotland, so that's one leg up right there. Cool. And this has not been mixed or mastered. Okay, cool. 7 months. Well, welcome.
Should be played at high volume.
All right. Subvids, you take care. Thanks for spending so much time with us, dude. All right. So first, let's just go back to the fact that this one came in from Came Clean or Kai McLean. Aha, I see what's happening here. I was reading that as one word, Came Clean. Haha. All right, so Kai. It's my nephew's name, actually. You're 15, and you've been doing this for 7 months. And it's easy to say that this is far beyond what the average 15-year-old would do with a DAW. What DAW are you using? Yeah, it's a clever name, Came Clean. You got people's attention. Okay, so you're on Ableton. All right. And man, what a time to get started with music, huh? Yeah, Rain is saying, yeah, this is more like 26 plus and several years of experience. Okay, so first off, I will say that I don't want to get too technical. Part of the greatest feelings you'll ever have around music are right now. And I do not like squishing any of that. That said, I will give you a little bit of feedback, a little bit more each time you come back with more. And kind of help you get a leg up on the technical side of things while your brain is really still plastic and malleable, right? All right, the Vox sample, the vocals, EQ the reverb. If you don't have an EQ after your reverb on your reverb channel, make sure that you always do that from now on. Don't ever let your subs through. Don't ever let low frequencies through that don't need to be there. Same said for high frequencies as well. Just understand that frequencies run into each other all the time. And when they are floating out in the ethers in a time-based effect, like big feedback delays or big reverbs or something, then those are even slower moving particles that are objects for other frequencies to run into. So just clean it up. Put an EQ on every single verb that you use. And don't trust that just because you put an EQ or a filter setting into play inside of your reverb plugin, that the output doesn't need to be looked at, because it does. It always does. And you will be rewarded for that. You will absolutely be handsomely rewarded for that, because all of your bass will start to be much more articulate and clear, which is important. It's important in your style of music, as I'm sure you know. So also on that note, what synth for the bass? Yes. Always EQ after the reverb. So your sound that you're sending out to a reverb channel is already going to have an EQ on it, because you're not a savage. You put an EQ on that track, and then you may have compressed it to spice it up a little bit, or maybe you've put a little distortion on it, or some chorus, or what have you, whatever. And then you're going to send it out. So your signal has already been processed, right? You've already kind of cleaned it up. You should just have good housekeeping skills from the very beginning. And just I would just encourage you to put an EQ on every single track that you put into your project right now. If you don't need it, you can take it off later. but most of the time, you're going to need it, right? Even if you're buying sounds from brilliant sound designers and whatnot, none of that matters, right? Because all of us are kicking out sounds for you guys to use that are meant for you guys to manipulate. You're kind of in control, right, of what the reverb ever even touches, is my point. And then you are in control of what that reverb touches. Okay, so it's going to keep everything super clean. And for the UK bass specifically, I think your bass could use a bit more movement and some phase mod play. Like just, it doesn't have to get straight up grimy or greasy. This song isn't for that, right? But if you start to play a little bit with the phase position of your waveforms and stuff, you will be rewarded. EQ then verb. Well, to clean up the mix, to maintain the clarity in the mix, you do want an EQ after the verb just to remove any unnecessary low frequencies in there. That's really the big culprit for muddying things up. Silent. Okay, cool. Oh, good. You have an EQ on every single sound. Great. So yeah, just a little bit of movement and some phase mod. I think it would really help. Do you have massive? Silent is a good one to be using right now because it's not very visual. I would encourage you to continue to use those things. Like it's fine using Serum and some of the newer tools, but when you're first getting started, I feel it's so important to do whatever you can to help your ears get trained in all the right ways, and using tools that you're not relying upon your eyes as much as you are your ears is the only way to fly. Absolutely. Silent, Serum, and Dune. Okay, cool. So the easiest one of those three to really manipulate the phase in more interesting ways would probably be Serum. Okay, cool. Silence and Serum are main. But yeah, just play. And I don't want to give you too many specifics right now because you're young and you have your own ideas, and you should hear what your ideas are before someone else tries to tell you how to arrive at your ideas. It's so supremely important. So keep bringing stuff back. Hit the sub button, or someone kick this guy a sub, and go grab a free sound pack from the Discord. We're doing a sound pack challenge on the month now. This month's free pack is in the Discord. It's Found Sounds for Beatmakers. There are no rules. There are no genres. You just turn in something at the end of the month, and we were voting last stream, and everybody wanted the big prize to be a guest appearance on the show. But I'm sure we'll kick down some sound packs and stuff each month. So good stuff, especially for the age. Absolutely. All right, back to who's next? Who's next? Well, maybe I don't have another one in the chat. Maybe it's just this one in Discord. If I have missed someone in the chat, you just holler at me and we'll get you. Oh, Fried Thoughts is asking, how long would you think you've been producing? Oh, good question. That's a good question. Good question. I don't know. A few years. You've got to give us the answer now. You can't just leave us hanging. Nope. Younger in production experience or older? It started last Tuesday. Holy crap! Fried Thought says, taking over the world. You're young as well. Okay. Well, you don't have to share like specifics if you don't feel comfortable with it. But if you are in the younger age group as well and you don't have that much experience, then keep chasing this. And Dremia, you finally got started. Dude. You've been DJing for a year. Okay. So you started with DJing and then now you're getting into music production. Right. I need bean juice. I'll be right back. Don't you guys go anywhere. Next up, I think, is East End. If someone else got missed in the chat, holler at me. If not, then I'm going to jump into making you guys some sounds. So put on your thinking caps, and when I come back, I'm going to ask you, what kind of sounds do you want this month? Just some extra fun sounds. And let's make them inside a serum so you guys can riddle me with a bunch of weird-ass questions as we all get kind of pumped up for the first Wavetable Masterclass workshop, shall we? Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go get some bean juice. And I'll be right back. Yeah, Paul, this is a good year to get started from, isn't it? I'm back. I got my bean juice. It has been procured. I am okay. Nothing bad happened to me. I got a sip just in time. Space Bats. You know, Rain, don't scrap the idea of the orchestral accompaniment if you've already had the idea. Just make the Cyber Death version 2. Come on, man. You got this. You got this. You got this. The excitement makes it hard to keep pants on. When you're so excited it's hard to keep your pants on, then you have to see that idea through to the end. You have to. I mean, if we're speaking musically. And also, is there a rule somewhere that says you have to keep your pants on? Because I know I've listened to every single Zappa record. I don't think ever once in the rules did I ever hear once that pants had to be on. I'm just saying. Purple, I have pants on in bed. What color are they? Last sips of the bean for you, huh, Paul? Well, you're ahead. You've time traveled ahead of me. Denim. Likewise. All right, let's do another one from East End, and then we're gonna make some madness, huh? Denim capri. The details keep coming. Um, all right, so I like this. I like the oddball little. I'm not sure if it's a sampler or a synth stab, um, but I like it. Just the one that's just kicking in the right channel. I think the kick might be just a little bit thick for the guitar. There are these points at which the guitar chords aren't really being heard as well as other parts, and I think it's because of the mid frequencies of the kick. And it feels just a little thick. If you were to roll just a little bit off the top end, it would be a really great heartbeat kick. But with that top end, I feel like it's just a little bit much for that guitar. So what if you put like a very subtle filter mod or just a tiny little EQ dip around maybe like 150 or so. You know, a lot of times, and we don't really think about this when we're mixing sounds in greater isolation in minimal tracks like this, but in a bigger context, we do these things and it's just good housekeeping. For a kick, oftentimes we'll take a little notch out right around where the snare is really popping off, right? And it's to help make room for that transient to cut through in the mix, right? And when we're mixing our kicks in isolation and we're using those same kicks, we're forgetting that it's not just being considerate to the snare or the other elements in the mix, it's also shaping the sound, right? So getting in there and oh, maybe something like this, you'll probably see a pretty nice peak right around here on that kick, I would imagine. You know, maybe around 100 or so is where the peak of your kick is. And then you're going to have this severe drop off. And then you're going to see kind of this, not necessarily a swell, but you're going to see a bit more kind of rock steady presence of the frequencies here in the kick. And what you're trying to do is create a bit more separation between that stuff and the transient peak that's trailing down here. And you're going to find a little pocket. And when you see that, just put a little dip in there like this. And see if that helps you. And you may also want to take just a bit off the top. And the reason I say that is because if we dip down to these last notes here, oh, and before we say that, I would say move one element to the left. Maybe it's the guitar. You've got the one oddball sample over here, the one perk sample. Something should offset that. Right now it feels kind of like this. Get everybody in a room kind of leaning to one side. Get something else on the other side for a little call and response kind of balance. Okay, so my last point is this pad. It's so hidden in there. It's there. It's omnipresent. It's totally there. But if we could create some more separation from the ever-presence effect that it has in the middle of the mix and get some kind of sparkle from it out on the sides, then the guitar or whatever it is that you move over to the left and the little oddball perk that you've got on the right currently are not in complete isolation. They're in some kind of an atmosphere. And I don't know if that pad is in mono or if it's just a narrow sound. Or if you've got the stereo width cut back on it or something, but I think that it should be expanded more to the sides and allow some kind of a sparkle to come from it. And you could even go as wild as a little granular process on it, or sending the signal out to a bus auxiliary channel, and then on there have some kind of a granular process or something where you're cutting out all of the like 500 hertz and below or something, and just letting the sparkly bits remain, and then just push those out to the sides in the mix. I think it would help support the other elements in your mix. For what it is worth. Paul says, make a sound and I will use it in my show tonight. Nice. Makes a loud donkey. Oh, man. Heidi. Saf is liking this a lot. This one was East End again. This is the second one from East End. ARP guitar. Okay. It's going for EDM. Yeah, I turned the kick up too much. Didn't EQ the art much. By the way, the second layer's in hiding is me tapping on the wall. Oh, I like that. I like that. Man, see, more people just need to capture the space around them. I really like it. It stands out as unique. And anytime I hear something unique, it makes me smile. So. Oh, you guys. I'm finally caught up with the chat. All right, I'm going to make some sounds. I don't know what I'm going to make, but I'm going to make something. What do you guys want this month? Just something fun. We've got a good solid hour. Unique and YouTube censor proof. All right, let's put Serum in here since everyone's been so hot and bothered about asking some deep Serum questions. And maybe I'll just show a couple little tricks. You bet, East End. Absolutely, 100%. And bring back more, dude. Bring back more. Let's see. ARPs, huh? Fat bases with no post-processing. Okay. Okay. I'll show you a little trick. Let's take a sign, and let's take one of mine. Maybe origami. And let's put this up one, maybe. FM. And let's just make this a bit dynamic. Go maybe just under 50% or so. We'll go the full spectrum here. We'll set this to envelope and 1 bar. Maybe not quite that much. That's good. Okay, and we're just going to resample that really quick. All right, cool. So now that we've got this new sound in here, let's see what this sounds like. All right, let's get rid of this first little click here. There we go. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this envelope and let's, okay, we're going to go up here. I'm going to turn this one off for a second. Let's go grab another one of mine. Maybe some fluffer nutter. And let's drop this. Sound doesn't matter, I just like it dropped. I'm looking for a shape. I'm not actually looking for sound. Okay, I'm going to use the sound in a couple different places. Let's say we're going to come down here. We're going to say wavetable beat to LFO. So now I've got this crazy thing over here. And let's turn this on over to a remap over here. And let's kill all the modulation on it. And then bring this bad boy up. Put this one back on. Let's drop this. Yo, what up, Gebro? Okay, so let's do. Let's bring in this, our preset. Oh, I guess I gotta save this damn thing first. We'll just save this as a fluffer nutter here. And we'll just toss in a new one. All right, so we're now going to, in our remap, we'll just load up fluffer nutter here that we just put in. And we're going to use that. We're going to kill this modulation. Let's put this one on. Okay, so there's a non-processed cool starting point for a new bass. Let's add a little something. Now let's take that sound. Let's turn this off. So basically what we've just done is we've taken a sine wave and we've kind of turned it into this other wave. But we're doing it through wave shaping, so it's going to sound a bit more like FM that never falls into noise because we're not actually processing the frequencies with an auxiliary source. We're just simply scanning through the different samples in this table. So it maintains clarity and everything. All right, so let's take this other layer then. And let's just bring this up in like a little chopper kind of thing. Maybe even 30 seconds. We'll trigger this. And maybe we'll even put this into a square-ish kind of a thing. It's a little too choppy. Let's grab something else. Let's do maybe a funk snail on this one. Let's get these things detuned from each other. And now let's take this. And we'll get a little, I guess maybe just a little ring mod. Let's turn this off for a second. Yeah, we can just mod through that slowly. Let's do like maybe a 2-bar on that. We'll trigger that. That's a bit fast, actually. All right, let's bring back in our synth. And let's toss it through something here. Maybe like a comb. All right, let's take our, this is our ramp. It goes for 1 bar. Let's take this and make it go down just a smidge. It's a little too slow. Let's do a different one. Put this through a second filter really quick, and let's do a multi, and let's do a sharp one, and let's get back to our weird thing. Let's do this in bipolar. Let's do maybe like a dotted. Yeah, let's not do bipolar. Let's do this up at the top, little compressor action, threshold, bring our loudness. And put a little EQ on this. Let's try a comb low pass instead on this. Let's start much lower and do a little pluck shape on this. Maybe not quite that much plucky. All right, second. Yo, what's up, Gebro? Thank you. I'm totally ignoring you guys. Base ARPs, huh? Okay, we will get there, you guys. Yeah, we certainly can reamp those things. Absolutely. Yeah, Hashkey, that exactly is wavetable modulation. Exactly. Any movement of the wavetable over time is wavetable modulation. You can do phase modulation here by messing with the phase, which I like doing for detuned stuff all the time. Some pretty awesome stuff. And if you were to do it super rapid fire, you come up with some kind of, well, both really low and really fast. You can end up with like some kind of flumy kind of stuff. Seriously messes with your key tracking. You can set this thing down and put a key tracker on it. That's always fun. I'm just going to hit one key for a second. phase does some really cool things. Yeah, some weird stuff. Love playing with phase modulation. We are a hive mind. Absolutely. Can you take the output of a filter and modulate oscillators with that? Yes. As a matter of fact, you can. All you have to do is grab an LFO and then take a shape from your oscillator. Thusly, we'll just take this one. Boom. And now I can take that shape and I can modulate the cutoff. Gabriel, I'll check that just one sec. Can you apply these modulations to another simple bass wave like a triangle? Absolutely. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, it's really awesome. Super, super flexible tool for sure. All right, let me hit the inbox here. I haven't even looked at email today. All sorts of people are in here. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is actually a follow-up bit of feedback. I love it when people circle back and apply feedback to their project and bring it back again. Lets us know where things ended up. Oh yeah, all right, cool. So we've got all four here. For those of you who are in here regularly, you'll like this because it's nice to get some follow-up on these things. All right, so here's ASMR. Ooh. That last little ghost kick at the very end is nice. The only thing, and I know that you're hitting the time mark here, is that it does cut just slightly at the end. And there's not much you can really do about that. I'm sure you've probably fiddled with the fade curve on that. This is great. Dude, this is it. Like this is solid. One more time. Oops. Sorry, that's my bad. That's dope. That's so good. And actually that fade curve is better than I thought it was the second time through. That's really, really good. Okay. Next one is Ethnic Africa Tribal Party. These are both so spot on, man. I'm glad that the feedback is helping you really nail these, because these right here are going to be placed, man. Yeah, listen to this one more time. One more time. Okay. Maybe just a touch less stereo width on the bass atmosphere, because it's tickling like right back here, and I think where you really want it to hit in a trailer like this is probably like right here, right? Because for like speaker playback systems and whatnot, not everyone's going to have like this big surround kind of setup, and a lot of people are going to have like really crummy frequency response in headphones or computer speakers or whatever. So if you don't push it so far out from the middle, they'll capture a lot of it still in their speakers. Around 20 seconds right here. God, there's so many good things happening in succession right here. That right there, that little metallic clink, it would be so badass if you had a katana or something like a whoosh, like the unsheathing, dude. Game over. People will buy it just for that tiny little hook. They will, because they'll they will go back and they will edit something into their trailer just to get some kind of action call out. I guarantee you they will. And then also at 10 seconds right here. Maybe a really thin and subtle reverse, like kind of suck effect, in that moment of silence right there. So you've already got the reverse going into the impact, but having a second one with maybe just like a really like 30-second triplet tremolo, or acting as a volume mod, or a bit crusher downsampled to, I don't know, like maybe 10K or something like that, at like 10 bits or something, just to get that kind of tinnitus, kind of like shiny metallic kind of squeal kind of thing. Either one of those I think would be just absolutely brilliant right there. But for sure the sword pull, like that's, dude, these are so good. All right, I'll put them on. Again. Why do I keep doing that? Why? Okay, this one's fairly specific. Um, Man, this is so good. This is better. All those choir samples are really sitting so well, and they feel um, like they are in the moment right now. Uh, that said, when they return at around 11 seconds, what if there was just a touch less low end, um, just through a little attenuation in the EQ, plus a really like nice wide arc around 6K or something, just up like 1.5 dB, something like that. So just like a tiny little focus shift, right? Taking down on the low end and up on the high end just ever so slightly. I think it would, this seems to be like this big moment here. I think it would kind of translate the same way that like the ray of sun comes out from behind the clouds, right? Or the heroes have arrived or whatever, but the choir is slightly brighter and more powerful, right? More energized or something. This is so good. I have no nitpicks in these, dude. These are so good. You are a champion of like taking feedback and going back and like finding the bits of that feedback that really actually work for you. It's so good. It's so good. You are on a path, my friend. Seriously. Um, it's a nice little emote, Sev. I have not seen the Fire AF yet. Oh, geez. Which one do I like most of those three? That's tough, dude. That's tough. Let me see here. Yeah, dude, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pick a favorite. I like all four of these. And you know what? I like them almost equally. I think the ASMR and the Tribal Party both have um a really nice like commercial value to them. Um because they're very, very familiar, like they're playing on these classic themes. Um, the Hard Mind is a little bit more um, original, but kind of getting caught up at the right time with the cyberpunk thing. I think they're all very well done. I would if it were me, I would consider changing the name of ASMR. ASMR is a hot trend and all that, but let's be fair, no one's going to search for ASMR in a trailer in comparison, just statistically speaking here, in comparison to something like Clockwork or Breath. If you were to call this Clockwork Breath trailer, you would probably hit a lot more search results. People are just going to run with the same kind of searches that they've always run with because it's worked for them, right? ASMR as a theme, like the overall ethos of the ASMR movement, is isolation and quiet and definition and clarity, and it's in the opposite of what most people who are searching for trailer music are actually typing in. So it's just good to know like how the shoppers are thinking when they arrive, right? And even if these are straight buyouts, right, and they're going into a library, what you do want is to maintain a position of popularity, right? It's not just about delivering something that they're going to buy from you. It's more about delivering something that they can't get enough of. That's the thing. So yeah, I'm not going to pick a favorite, but freaking great work, dude. Absolutely. Those are all ace. Yeah. The other thing that you might want to consider is Ethnic Africa Tribal Party. Maybe just changing that to Tribal Party or African Tribal Party. Ethnic Africa Tribal Party, I think, is a bit much. And I think that avoiding words like ethnic and urban and stuff like that is a good thing to avoid in general in naming conventions in our industry. Because once you get these things into a marketplace, they're evergreen. You know what I mean? They're going to stick around. And I don't think that words like ethnic and urban and stuff like that are going to fare very well at all moving forward. Not that they have up to this point, but I think that just avoiding little trigger words like that is good. Yo, what up, Ricky? How are you, dude? Happy Friday to you. Welcome back. How you feeling? How you doing? Staying inspired? What's new? Well, the two ASMR elements in there would be the high frequency tick of the clockwork and the breath, perhaps. But the breath has been processed so much, it's so big that I don't know that it would really qualify. But I get the before everything gets super, super loud, it's all quiet in the beginning, and you're probably thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to save this one with the name ASMR. That makes sense. And then you start building like war drums around it and stuff. I totally get it. Oh man. All right. So, let's get back in here. What were we doing? Oh yeah. Bass. You said a bass ARP kind of thing. Bambi versus Godzilla vibes. Oh man. All right, so you guys are thinking that you want an ARP. So let's see what we can do about that. Let's just get back to the basics here and do a plucky pluck on this guy. right, so we're going to put a mod right here. And we're going to mix so this will be body. And we're going to bring in some kind of juicy sub over here for that, I think. So we'll add a little to the top of this one. We can bring in this one. And maybe we'll add like a little offset here. All right, let's get a little phase action on this. And our verb, we'll just put this on there as well. You know, it'd be fun if this one right here upped the rate. What if we ditch the anchor on this and let's see, up here, what if we did like a triplet? Let's do let's add this back. Take this one. And maybe we're going to start this at 30 seconds. And we're going to bring this down 2/16. Let's see what that does. Where's our quarter note? This is our quarter note. Let's stick this over here and give this a nice little quarter note thump on it. There we go. All right, let's give this thing just a little bit of heat at the end here. Where are we? Compressor. Okay, which means we want that to be the inverse. So let's take and put a macro on this bad boy. And let's inverse that. And this feel about equal. Maybe a little bit more. We could flex this at the same time. Oh, we can't because it's not a freaking LFO. Come on, Steve. I was checking out those funky snails over here. 6 bars feels kind of slow to me now for this. Is this a link to Bambi versus Godzilla, Paul? Oh, man. I'm rocking 0 strikes against my copyright infringement right now. Ricky saying, happy Friday. Yeah, I've been working on a track for an Awakenings Festival contest for Masterclass. I took, hoping to finish it this weekend. I'll need some feedback to push it across the finish line, even though I don't think the contest started. I don't know if it will really be my entry. Send it on through, dude. If you're ready, or, you know, to email if you want a private, whatever. Hashkey, yeah, absolutely. You know, you can book private sessions with me anytime you like. I'm usually booked fairly solid, like a couple weeks out at a time. There are some regulars that don't schedule all their stuff as quick as others. So you still can kind of maintain a position in the queue. Saf has had a standing position in the queue for a few years now. And Zev as well, actually. So people can do it. Go hit the website and send me a message and we'll get the ball rolling. Also, their workshops are coming back. So I feel like my back is getting close to normal and I'm finally caught up. I think we can go ahead and start to schedule these things. Saf, awesome. So you're smashing a melon for half an hour and messed up your parents' basement, had to clean up everything. Oh man, that's awesome. You just couldn't wait for the ripeness, huh? That's awesome. Paul just found his dream car, but it cost $650,000. A 61 Rolls-Royce Phantom with modern electric drivetrain. Is the 61 Phantom, is that the one that, who was it? Was it like the Green Lantern that drove one of those? Or didn't one of the Saturday serial heroes drive one of those? Uncle Chrome, why are we going -30? It's the juice, baby. Ah, the Green Hearted. Yes. I knew it. I knew it. When you said that, I was like, wait a minute, I know what the Phantom is. And we can't just say Kato is chauffeur. We can't just say that. Look at this. Oh. Oh. All right. Everybody go hit sub on Paul's YouTube channel, Uncle Chrome. Let's get him as many pennies as we can get him. 650 grand for this thing. It looks like it should be bulletproof and that you should be driving it in a reboot of some retro future sci-fi flick. Oh man. Jeez. Nice pictures. Wow. This car still uses a key. Here I am hiding behind some flowers. I like long drives in the country. Here's my socials. Hit me up. Oh my gosh. It's a pretty nice car. It's a pretty nice car. Nice. When are you buying it? You rode in one once. Oh man. A pal's dad was a chauffeur and drove me home once. I was like 12 and sold. Oh, dude. So my father worked for this guy, Wally, and he owned this this trailer parts company that just have a distribution company. So they're a reseller of goods, right? They sell into different like sports stores and auto parts stores and dealerships and stuff like this. Anyway, it was such a boom market. This dude was collecting, the owner of the company, he was collecting like the most expensive cars, and like he lived across the river in Vancouver. His next door neighbor who moved in next to him because he liked his car collection was Kevin Duckworth, who was a trailblazer at the time, who also collected cars. Anyway, long story short, I'm like, I don't know, probably 12 to 14, somewhere in there. And probably 14, I would guess. Anyway, he had gotten this brand new Corvette concept car. I had never been in anything like this, obviously. And he really wanted to take me out in it. And he's a total character. So he decided that he was going to drive me for a few minutes around industrial Portland, way back in the day when there was like no traffic. There's this really long stretch of road that parallels the airport. And he said something like, make sure you're wearing your seatbelt when I do this because your father will murder me if I kill you, or something like that. And hit the gas pedal. And I was pushed so far back in my seat. He said, you have to hold on because we got to get up to 70 to get out of this gear. And I was like, oh, like I grew up in a very responsible family where no speeding happened or anything like that. This is the first time I had ever felt like real force like that. It just put every carnival ride to shame. I've never been in a car like that since either. But man, getting to go up there and see all those cars that these rich guys have is just, it was like, yeah, you know, they're the kind of cars that you see at the car shows. They're not ones that you could buy from a dealership anywhere, for sure. Oh man. Self-driving too? So it is its own chauffeur. Man, now that is a Rolls Royce. Oh man. Rest in peace, Bruce Lee, man. Jeez. Well, at least we're not trying to replace him, I guess. So base ARPs, huh? Nice thing about base ARPs is that we can bounce one of these. And just do like an F. All right, so now let's just start going through here and tossing in stuff that's actually fun. And let's toss in another one of mine from the simple side of things. Nah. I'm bouncing these in F. You guys can shift them. Switch this over to maybe a comb. Let's do a... Let's do this over a 2-bar. And let's bring this back over here. And make this an LFO again. Now let's put this bipolar. Ocean! How the hell are you? Happy Friday to you, dude. That one's pretty hard. Okay, so let's just save this as 2, and then we're just gonna flip this completely. The DeLorean, yeah. Oh man, they're building in fake exhaust sounds in these classic cars. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Which dimension do we live in again? Your magic carpets, that is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, Heidi. Oh, Ocean, I hope you set them down in this dimension. Finding trans-dimensional glasses is such a bitch sometimes. Some quality D&B sets, huh? Nice. Let's go in a completely different direction. Let's initialize. I got a couple minutes. We can make something in a couple minutes, right? Let's do it. Analog. Maybe one of these. And we'll put it through one of these. Maybe we'll do like one of these. And let's get one of these. And we'll just do like a little slow thing over here. And maybe we'll just FM from A, keep this really simple. Maybe instead we'll just do a little remap on this one. Let's take the shape of this one. Let's bring that down here. And we'll just save it really quick. This is a basic MG. And it's got a little flux in it. So now that we've got that saved, we'll just come up here. We'll open that here. Okay. That's good enough for right now. And we'll just take and maybe we'll just scan through that on the regular like this. Now let's FM this way. And give this thing some kind of width to the art part. Yeah, like that. Uh-huh. So let's get this one up, we'll get this one down, set this over here. A little distortion on this. Let's do a little, like maybe a sine fold. Let's not do that much. right, cool. Let's do just a small amount of phase on this. All right, let's tighten this thing up a little bit. Okay, now let's do something really fun with one of these other LFOs. Let's do a little funkify in here. No, let's do something a bit more complex. Let's do maybe a pluck and ramp. And maybe we'll just flux part of these. Let's see here. What do we got here? We got maybe just a little, and then a little. Yeah, something like this. Maybe just squeak this over a little bit and make this not quite as sharp. There we go. All right, and let's put that on our. Let's just start with a normal and take it from there. All right, and just because that's a little bit normal, let's just also put in just this tiny little, let's just do like a triplet, and we'll say just a little rapid fire awesomeness here. Yeah. Let's also put that triplet on the phase. Let's just go in one direction and just a smidge, just a little smidge here. Something like that. I think that's a decent one. Let's see here. We'll call this base 4. How about that? Very original names today. And then maybe I will take these and twist them up into something extra special for you guys with something like, Before I go any further, Yeah, that'll remind me where I am when I come back into this project. We could turn those 4 little bass stems into a whole bunch in a matter of minutes. All right, kitty cats, I'm going to boogie here in a minute. I'm going to catch up on chat really quick so you don't feel like I just ignored you for the last 10 minutes. Trying to get an entry ready for this 2-week sample flip challenge and keep rewriting the baseline. Oof. Oh, man. Which means rewriting a lot of other stuff each time. Are you using alternates inside your DAW? I forget what you use, Ocean. But are you like flipping back and forth between them and A-Bing them, or are you just like moving on each time? Ooh, the DeLorean pick. A T-Bird. Nice. Nwanda, welcome. Oh, dude, you're not going to mess anything up. Although I'm about to boogie, so if you're going to drop a link, you better do it fast. And I've only got a minute to run through it, and then I got a jet. So if you're still wanting to drop one, you can. And if not, no worries. We can always circle back and do this on. Oh, no stream on Monday, you guys. Next time I see you is Wednesday. Air hockey. Air hockey. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. 30 years of disposable income. You end up with things like a hockey table and 3 studios. Oh, man. Oh, hey. Hot Tub is back in action. Nice to hear it, Paul. Nice. 0 game rooms. Uno. You set aside the old ones and move on. I see. All right. Well, since I'm not seeing Nwanda drop anything in the chat right now, I think I'm going to start winding this thing down. Anyone we love streaming right now? Let's see. Let's see who's gone live here. There's Mr. Bill. Little Bad. Bowers up. I don't think so. I think I'll just leave you guys with a little tune or something. And then that's it. There are a handful of you in here that may not have heard the demo of the stuff that I've been working on in these streams for the past month, so maybe I'll just play that for you really quick. What was this in? This is in streams. Yeah, I'll just leave you with this. That's what I'll do. Save, ditch out. All right, guys, once again, no stream on Monday. The next time I see you will be on Wednesday. For those of you looking to book sessions and stuff, give me a little bit of time to respond, but we will get you in the next couple of weeks, I promise. Those interested in sending ideas, requests, recommendations, whatever my way for upcoming workshops like the Serum Masterclass, you just hit my inbox, holler at ohmlab.tv, and I will respond as I can. In the meantime, I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend and beginning of your next week, and stay inspired out there. I'm going to leave you with this. It's the demo for the upcoming cinematic library that's going to drop soon. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you on the flip. You guys are all great. I appreciate you. Big love, peeps. Adios.